Hey, I'm Eric Keach. Today I'm here with another amazing Encore member, and this is Jiulia Soresi. And Jiulia has a fantastic story, and that's what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to hear about her journey, hear about some of those challenges, what led her to the program, Jim, and the results. So we're going to go into all that and everything else in between. But before we do that, Julia, I want to say thank you for taking the time to come on and do this. I know for a lot of people, a little bit scary, so I know that, but it's first time we're here, and I want to thank you for doing this. And with all of that being said, let's now go back. Let's jump back to, I guess, kind of the beginning of the story, right? Because there's always a little bit of a story that leads us to where we're going to the gym and all that stuff. So let's go back and start, I guess, where things were. What were you going through? What were the biggest challenges? Kind of where were you at that point?
Oh, well, it's quite the story. But I want to say about 6 years ago, I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's thyroid, which is a hypothyroid disease. I was struggling with weight gain, and then COVID hit, and I pretty much gave up. I just started binging on chips, pop, because I was bored out of my mind. Couldn't do my second job, so I had more time on my hands to eat, and lost any desire to exercise, which that's always been a lifetime thing that I loved doing just for mental, physical, and emotional well-being. And come Christmas time, just before I went to go visit a girlfriend that I hadn't seen throughout all the shutdowns and everything else. So it had been quite a while since I had seen her. And she looked amazing. I was just like, what are you doing? I just couldn't stop staring at her. I was just like, just her persona, everything was like so much better, right? And she says, I'm doing kettlebell. And I'm like, kettlebell? What is kettlebell? Never heard of it before. She goes, it's awesome. It's a half-hour workout. I do it 4 days a week. I'm actually thinking of doing it 5 days a week, and highly recommend it. And I'm like, okay, so where is it? When is it? How does it work? And she told me it was Rob, and he's a really nice guy. And I said, okay. So, make a long story short, I called Rob about a week before we were supposed to be opening back up again. And I said, put me down. I will be there. He said, okay, how's January 31st? I said, perfect. We'll see you then. I was nervous. I ain't gonna lie, because I had never even heard of kettlebell, so I had no idea what I was even gonna be doing, if I was even gonna be capable of doing it. But I walked in. Rob was friendly. Rob was very honest, straight to the point, told me exactly what I should be expecting. So I did my first class. I want to say the first week was a really hard week, but just kept chipping away at it. Rob just kept telling me that, clear your mind of can't. And it started to work. Like it just, I trusted him. There was one little setback in my brain that I was worried because we were, using, you know, weights so much that I was just concerned about bulking up. And he says, no, you won't bulk up. Trust me, you won't. That's not even a thing. And I said, okay, I just don't want to start looking manly or anything like that. I just want to be toned. I want to be healthy. I want to be fit. And he says, you're going to do exactly that. And I just trusted him. And like I said, it took a while to process, clear your mind of can't. But once I did, it started just falling off. I started excelling, and the results are amazing. I started
Awesome.
seeing results within the first month. I, started with weight loss myself, just cutting out all the bad stuff. I didn't want to
Mm-hmm.
go hardcore right from the beginning because I didn't want to have any lapses. So I got rid of the chips, got rid of the pop, and then just started little by little managing how much I was eating during the day, trying to eat more regularly. And then he started this challenge, and I said, I'm in. I need the next level. And the challenge just did it. I'm down 35 pounds, almost 35 pounds from beginning of February. Um, 4 to 5 dress sizes. it's just been the greatest experience, not only physically, but my mental well being, my emotional well being, my kids, my husband. Everybody notices how much better of a person I've been. And I have Jen and Rob to thank.
I
I
was going to
want to
say,
say,
well, there's a lot here. So let me pause you because we basically just did the entire journey, which was awesome. But there's a couple things that I want to kind of dive into because it was important. I want to step back a little bit because you mentioned the Hashimoto's was an issue,
yeah,
right? Going through that. So you were struggling with that you diagnosed and struggling with that stuff for years, right? So there was
right.
that, and then there was COVID. There was a gap in between there. Were you struggling? Was that causing like weight issues and other challenges during that time as well before COVID had hit?
Yeah, weight gain was horrible. I had gained, I want to say 40 to 45 pounds quite quickly. I always struggled keeping it off, but then when I gave up, it just kept coming on and coming on, and I just didn't have the ambition to do anything about it. Tried things, pills, injections, because I just wanted the easy way out. I just didn't want to have to put the work behind it. So it was a struggle. Mentally, I got to rock bottom, just like totally depressed all the time, angry at the world, and not just because of physical. I just was so tired, and just that wasn't me my whole life. That just wasn't me. I was always like the one that, was the motivator, was the, person that everyone went to. And so not seeing that person was really depressing. Having three daughters, I always tried to be their strong woman because, I want them to be that same strong woman in life, not having to depend on other people. So seeing myself not be that strong person, I wasn't that role model that I wanted to be for the girls, and them
Wow.
being almost 23, 21, and almost 18. That is like, I think like that's almost like a really important time in their life to really know where they stand as a woman in life. They're not little girls anymore, they're women, and they need to make their own decisions. And by having a strong role model in their life could help them with career choices,
Right.
you know, other mates in their life, like I wanted them to meet people because they wanted to be with those people, not because they had to be with those people. So that was just my trigger. I had to get up. I had to, you know, get back to my normal self, for my husband as well, because he's been my supporter, for the last 27 years. And
And he noticed this too, right? So was he like
oh,
saying things to you? Was he trying to help you along? Be like, listen, something you got to do something in a nice way, of course, right?
yeah, no, he was more than understanding. He just said, like, I just wish you would do things for yourself again. And so yeah, so he never complained about, the looks or anything like that. He just wanted me to be mentally strong again. Like that's what attracted him to me from the beginning, and
Yeah, he
he
wanted you
saw
to be
me
you,
living.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, as this was going on, was this also prior to COVID, or was this like were you feeling prior to COVID, and then once you got to COVID, that just multiplied it more, or is this kind of all the same
Yeah,
time?
no, I've dealt with depression on and off my whole, I want to say, life, but was able to swing back pretty quickly from it. It did get progressively worse before COVID, but COVID was like the thing of all things that just, I'm a people person, so not being able to see my family and friends was like a huge cutoff to life. And yeah, so that's when it just really spiraled, and I felt like there was nothing left to life. If you can't be with family and friends, then what's the point, right? So
Right. I get that.
yeah, so food became my best friend, and I didn't become my best friend anymore, and that's it.
But during that process, you came across your friend. I believe you said her name was Maria,
Maria.
and you saw
Yeah.
that, and it just like the light bulb went off. You're like, what? And it wasn't like you said. It wasn't just how she looked. Like there was something else.
Right.
right? Was there like a feeling, an energy, or a vibe? Is that kind of what that was that you
Yeah,
noticed?
I just felt like she felt good. Like she didn't have to say much. Just because we've been friends for so long, like I just felt a better energy with her. And, just seeing her happy, that just motivated me because I just wanted to be that person.
Yeah, and you're like,
So,
I was like, I gotta get some of that. Like, how do I, right? How do I get that?
yeah.
So you talked to her and she told you about Iron Core and you'd mentioned, or kettlebell. Actually, I want to talk about this because this is important. You mentioned the kettlebell now but you go into Iron Core and I want to clarify, it wasn't just all kettlebells, right? Like, cause sometimes that could be like, oh, that's all we're doing. Like, there was more to it once you went in than it was just using a kettlebell, correct?
Right. Yeah. So there's like, cardio mixed in with it. And just, everyone around you, like everyone's energy. I find that really helps. Rob and Jen, it's like having personal trainers without paying these high prices of having a personal trainer. The one thing that I really am happy about, I had frozen shoulder and fluid on my bicep for 2 years, and I could not even lift my arm. And so that was one of the things I had told Rob, and he said, we'll get you there. I had a series of cortisone shots, so I was able to eventually lift it, but I had no strength at all. I would drop things. Like I said, I couldn't even blow dry my hair, holding the blow dryer in my arm. And so I want to say the first few weeks, I couldn't even pick 5 pounds up over my head. And he just kept saying, it's okay. You got to start small. Don't be, hard on yourself. And he would always watch. And so would Jen, making sure that our stances are properly, making sure that we're picking up these weights right. He was more worried about us doing it properly than the amount of weight we were picking up, you know. And I'm now up to 20 pounds, which has gotten much easier, going up to 25 pounds here and there just to see if I can do it. And they just keep telling me, just make sure you're taking it easy. You don't want to go back to what you were. And that makes me feel great too, because like I said, I couldn't even pick up the blow dryer and put it over my head. And now being able to lift that 20 pounds and it's becoming easy is great. So
Yeah.
I really believe that they're there to help you. They're not there just to like when you go to a gym, you feel like you're just a number. They are there to help you in every way that they can.
So you'd mentioned like before when you'd gone in that you walk in, you're like, whoa, this is a little bit maybe scary, like what you had thought going in. But how long did it take before that kind of fear, some kind of wore off, and you're like, oh, actually, this isn't as scary as I thought?
It only took a few classes because honestly, there was two members that stick out still to this day. I want to say the very first class, they were just like, "You're doing great, keep up the good work." And we were all there before, and after they said that, it was like a huge sigh of relief because and then I realized at the same time, like nobody really has time to watch what you're doing, right? Like everyone's working out hard. And I want to say it only took a couple of classes to actually start feeling comfortable in the class.
And you said those two members were pushing you in a good way, motivating you in some sense. So for someone who's never been there, it's kind of talking about a little bit. Can you give a sense of what that the rest of the class, the vibe, like the feeling, the energy, what it's like to be a part of that program?
It just feels like we're all in it together. And it really just doesn't matter about how old you are, how young you are, how physique you are, what you're wearing. Like there's no judgment across the board. Honestly, this is the most comfortable I've felt ever working out in my whole life. And I've been a member of a ton of gyms, regular gyms, you just feel like you have to wear the hip hop workout clothes and you have to look good going to the gym. Here it's like doesn't matter what you're wearing. You don't need to wear makeup. You don't have to, like, it's just it's just a different feeling. It's hard to explain. I just recommend everyone try
Right.
it. Because I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, it's like the best thing I could have ever done. I'm addicted now. So yeah,
Could it be, and I don't want to like put the words in your mouth, but I'm getting a sense like there's a community, almost like a family type of vibe. Is
very
that
family orientated. Like when I actually my two daughters signed up just after myself, and when they don't show up, they're coming up to me, how are your kids, what's going on. I just feel like everyone's concerned, like if they don't see you in that regular class that they always see you in, they're wondering what's going on. Like, is it just because they took a day off, or maybe they're coming to a different class? But it's nice to know that your absence means something and that people care about
with
you.
that, we got a good idea of what the program is, kind of what you went through. I want to go back into those results because those have been, at the time we're recording now, it's been a pretty short period of time, and you've seen some
Right.
pretty significant results. So let's just dive back into the numbers side of it again. Can you kind of just share those again for us so we can remember what that was?
Yeah, so I've lost almost 35 pounds now, and I want to say that since February the 1st, so it's been 5 months now. And my dress sizes, anywhere from 4 to 5 dress sizes that I've lost.
That's pretty amazing. That
Yeah.
in a really short period of time. And as you've gone through, do you feel with this and those benefits, do you feel that this is something that's now sustainable for you? As where before, right, you'd gained weight and there's some of the yo-yo stuff, but do you feel this is
Right.
something sustainable for you?
It is. And it's easier to sustain it this time around just because the workouts are so short. You can fit in a half hour into your busy life. The food, as long as meal prep, which is a new thing that I've learned to do with this program, it has made my life so much easier.
Yeah.
Like I'm not just grabbing whatever comes to my hands. So meal prepping is awesome. Yeah, and I just feel like I'm at the point where I can be really good during the week. And if I want to go out one day of that week and enjoy a dinner, I don't feel as guilty.
And that's huge. Like you feel that way. And speaking of feelings, that was really the big thing that kind of moved you to do something, right? Obviously, besides seeing your friend Maria, but you said you were, just feeling a certain way, you're feeling depressed, feeling down, all these things. Now you said you're just feeling so much better. So how much better now do you feel compared to like at your lowest point?
I'm on top of the world. Like literally, I have not been this happy in, I can't even tell you how long. I feel great. I mentally, I just feel like I can do everything. Like it's even helped me in my new career, feeling more confident, um, just totally like all over the place. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
in a good way, all over the place in a good way.
Oh,
Like this,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
How about, and this is important, and I could sense this when you were talking about the role model side of things for your daughters. How do you feel about that now, knowing you're doing this and your daughters are seeing this shift and this change in not just the physical side, but the mental, the emotional side of it as well?
I feel good. I actually, like I said, two of my daughters have joined since because they feel, that they want to do the same. My other daughter, she's on track with her life as well. I think it's pushing them to do better for themselves, because that's the first thing I want, is for them to be mentally stronger, and emotionally stronger. So I I think I'm happy. I'm just extremely happy that I can be that role model that I always was, and lost for a little while. I say it all the time, how much better of a person I am. It's nicer to be around. Yeah, so it's it's nice when they can actually compliment me and say,
Wow.
you're doing a great job, Mom.
How about your husband? What has he said?
What hasn't he said? He feels like he's with a whole different woman, not only physically but mentally. He loves being around me now. He constantly talks to people about me, even when I'm not around, because they come up to me and they're just like, "Oh my God, he was right. Like you do look so much better and whatnot." And I'm like, "Wow, he's actually talking about me,
Yeah.
away from me. He's not
He's
just
he's
saying
bragging
it in front
about
of
you.
me."
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes he even jokes around and he's like, I feel like I'm with like a whole different woman. I'm having an affair, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's amazing though, because now you're at a point where, and we're talking again maybe 6, 7 months ago, just not there. Now you're at a point of almost inspiration,
Yeah,
right? Because it sounds like your daughter's joined, so
yeah,
it's not just you that it's changed; it's changing them. It's changing your family dynamic. People are seeing this. I mean, that's got to feel pretty
right.
darn good.
Yeah, yeah, it
Wow.
feels really good.
Would you go as far as to say that this process, what you've been through, everything, it's been life changing for you?
It's been more than life changing. Yeah, I want to say it's a complete circle of, and it's like an emotional roller coaster, really. Just feeling this good, this fast with no pills, no, herbs, no, nothing, just energy and just exercising and eating right. Like it can change your life just like that. Even going to see my doctor, she even complimented me, how good
Wow.
I looked and whatnot. So it's good. I mean, I feel like, yeah, this is possible. This is doable. I can keep this up. Seeing the results this fast is what keeps you motivated and wanting to, further your toning and whatnot. And yeah, I trust everything that Rob says,
Oh,
especially now.
yeah. Now,
So,
I just want to, before we wrap up, I just want to talk about Rob for a second, because obviously what you've been able to achieve and accomplish, that is all because you made that decision. You made that choice. You're putting in the work, you're putting in the effort, but you've had a guide along the way. You've had Rob, and
right.
Rob is the owner. So I'm curious to know a little bit about Rob, right? Good at what he's done. He's helped you get incredible results. But can you give me a few words or phrases that describe the type of person that he is?
Trustworthy, strong, mentally. I want to say he's a role model. I like when someone tells me what to do, that they're actually doing it. He's had his struggles, so it's nice to know that he just wasn't always this fit person, both physically, mentally. So it's nice to see that he's been able to keep it off. That's huge. Caring is another one. Loyal. He's loyal to his members. Yeah, he's just a great guy all the way around. I feel like you can pretty much tell him anything in confidence, and nothing leaves those doors, and that's huge for me. Just because those are all the things that I strive for in life. That he's pretty much nailed all of it.
So it sounds like there's, I guess, an underlying theme there, that there's a realness
Yes.
to him. Like you're not
Right.
getting somebody who's like an Instagram model. No offense, Rob. Right? You know,
Right.
like like in terms of looks or anything. It's just like
Right.
in terms of the personality and who he is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. Now, on the other side of it, there's that realness, but everybody has their personality. Is there anything?
Yeah.
How can I phrase this? Is there anything quirky or funny, or does he have sayings or things that kind of get you to smile and be like, yeah, that's something that's definitely a Rob thing.
He always points at his poster and says, "Clear your mind of can't." I guess we get along because we're a lot alike. We just say things how they are, but he's good about explaining things.
You said that he cares. Can you give an example of something that maybe he's done or with you, or a conversation or whatever, that was like, that's just something that's different than what a normal trainer might have done?
I might just say something like, quick example, I said, "What do you think of pickled eggs?" Because, I was eating eggs every morning and I just wanted to keep it different. Never tried pickled eggs in my whole life. And, but I know that there must be more sodium in it, whatnot. And instantly, within a half an hour, I got an email telling me exactly the differences between a pickled egg and a real egg, and how it, as long as your sodium levels are not so it was like, that's what I find. He cares. He actually listens, and if he can help you, he will.
So there's a level of going above what really most people, trainers, would do in those situations.
Right. And that's why I constantly tell people this is like having a personal trainer without paying the high costs. And I mean, I have some girlfriends that have personal trainers, and I don't feel that they get the attention that I get with Rob.
All right. So then, just to wrap up, let's say someone is hearing this or watching this, and they're thinking, this sounds really great, but maybe they're still on the fence for whatever reason, right? They're 50-50. They're not sure whether they want to do it or not. What would you tell that person to push them off the fence?
I mean, I always started out with, if I can do it, anyone can do it. And love yourself enough. Prove to yourself that you love yourself. Because if you love yourself, you will take care of yourself.
Julia, this was incredible story. Again, in such a short period of time, the turnaround and the benefits, the results you've seen, right? Not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, like every side of it. It's just fantastic. And I knew when we were talking, like that's why I said this is a great story, and I really want to be able to share this with everyone. And I want to thank you for taking the time to come on and do this. And I really mean this, that I wish you the best of luck with everything that you're doing and moving forward in the future.
Thank you.
All right, you take care.
All right, bye-bye.